Welcome. Today we're going to be discussing the technique securing the storm, its execution, some things you should know about its execution, some problems that can arise, and how to fix through those problems. So let's talk through the initial part of this technique, which is the attack. The attack is off of a roundhouse club attack coming to our head. Okay, we already have a technique off of this, which is called calming the storm, which comes in and hits this way. But this technique is the exact same thing as that, only that you're stepping with the left foot forward. Okay, so one of the problems that may arise is gauging. Keep in mind that if they're really close to us and trying to hit us, maybe with the butt of the weapon rather than the front of the weapon, we might have to step back and do the same technique. But we're going to assume that we're gauging the weapon and we're seeing it, so we're going to step forward. Now, just like calming the storm and a lot of our other techniques, what we don't want to do is we don't want to allow them to get this stick in front of their shoulder, because that's where all their power is generated. What we want to try and do is keep that back as far as we can before the apex of that circle, before it gets past that shoulder. If you get past, they get past that, then you're going to be dealing with a much stronger strike. So this isn't wait for the technique to get to you and then block it. This is a you recognize it and you stop it as soon as you can, so that they don't get the power towards you. Okay, unlike some of the other weapon techniques where we're trying to get away from the weapon, instead in this case what we're trying to do is get really close to the weapon and then take advantage of them immediately. So if you'll notice, what I'm trying to do here is trying to get them back. Again, since we're potentially straddling the paddle, we want to keep this checked and we're going to try and get them back like that. Okay, so just keep that in mind. This is an aggressive technique where we're really close to the opponent. What we're not trying to do is something like this, where we have to reach for this. This arm is now in a fight with us and we're barely able to hit this person. We want to be up close and personal with this person. Okay? So now, we talked about the calming the storm part. Now, this is basically two techniques put together. It's calming the storm with a variation and tripping arrow with a variation. So the end piece of this technique is tripping arrow. The beginning piece of this technique is calming the storm, both with variations. So as we go forward, that's that relationship that you should keep in mind. So let's go from here. We get this hit, we get them to go back like this. Now from here we can do any number of things. So what we've decided to do with this technique is to continue using this backward momentum as we loop this arm, zone on the inside of the arm rather than the outside of the arm, and control that arm this way. What we don't want to try and do is get up here really close. Again, at or below the elbow as opposed to at or below the elbow. What we want to do is be below the elbow so that we control that elbow rather than just the shoulder, because what we're doing is we're now controlling both the shoulder and the elbow. If I get to here and get above this elbow, he still has control of that elbow and his wrist, and we're in a fight. What I want to do is, since I moved him back, is continue to keep him moved back like that, to keep that weapon under control so that it's very hard for them to use it. Now, if you'll notice my right hand is dropped. Let's assume I get to here and I begin to drop this and he catches me in between. I have to worry about that weapon. So yes, we're moving it away from that weapon, but what we want to do is make sure that we keep that in check just in case, so we want to keep this hand up. Okay? So just take it up to that piece and let's switch sides so you can see it from a different angle. So we're coming in here, get him to lean back. We then control the arm this way. We can readjust here, because now that we want to get this lower part, see how the upper part's controlled, keep this right hand up, and we take them down. Now, if you'll notice what just happened here, two things. One is I took one leg out. Just like tripping arrow, what we want to do is potentially do two legs at the same time, but what we're going to do is concentrate on one to save my opponent here from getting hurt. And if you'll notice what happened with the stick, number two, is the stick came out of his hand. We might have to worry about that. This could happen from one of two ways. Either they're falling and I accidentally strip it this way, or they could potentially still be holding it, which would mean I can continue to control this weapon. Or if it does fall out, I have to worry about my environment now with his other people. So if I take this person down and the stick is sitting in my environment and they have friends, we might have to do a shorter version of this technique, something like a falling falcon, and then pick up that stick so that none of his compatriots pick it up. In this case, we're going to assume that my friends are with me and they're going to take care of that stick for me, so I don't have to worry about it and I can take my time to go forward. So just like tripping arrow, we're going to finish this the same way. So once we get to this lock, we're going to slide up, we're We're going to do something very similar to what we do in snapping twig and in many other techniques. What we're going to do is make a closed circle. So we're going to keep that from left facing you, right facing away from you, because if I didn't do this, he can pull out, and if I didn't do this, he could pull out and turn it against me. So what we want to do is, as always, keep that complete circle to keep control of this arm. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to pull him up like this, and we're going to shoot this kick straight down into the jaw, down like that. So we're going to do both those at the same time, and we do our standard diversified angle retraction, potentially stomping on whatever's in our way, cross out and cover. Okay, up. One more time. Let's switch back to the original line so you can see it with faster explanation. Close that gap. Keep this check. Forward bow. Make them lean back. Stop this before it gets too far into the circle. Keeping that closed off at or below the elbow on this side. So we then continue our check. Step off the line. Control the arm by bringing below the elbow this time with our arm on the elbow, controlling both the shoulder and the elbow at the same time, closing off that weapon, keeping our hand up to cover. Adjust if we need to. Remember, foot maneuvers are added as needed. If I don't need to, then I don't need to. Take them down, potentially strip that weapon, keep control of the arm, both sides, pull them in the heel of our foot. Diversified angle retraction, stomp, cross out, and cover. You can pick up the stick if you want to. You can leave it on the floor if you want to. That's up to you. Probably the smarter way to do it is to pick up that stick. In this case, since it's not part of the ideal phase, we're not going to do that. So one more time, just so you can see it, slightly faster without any explanation. Up. Hope this video helps you. Thank you very much.